my guys. Now this is a spiritual successor to the video I named Stuck on my channel. If you haven't already watched it, I kinda want you to do that first. But instead of talking about the whole entire shop, I'm gonna talk about just the room I work in. You see, at my work, I'm constantly coming up with new ideas on how to improve the way I count things and how it can be helpful to other people and stuff like that. And today, on December 8th of 2022, almost a whole year after I've started working there, I finally decided that for the parts that are not listed on my chart, I can give those to the people in the other room. However, though, I needed to do something a little bit different if I was going to accomplish that goal. Let me go ahead and tell you what everything is in this room. Now, as you people would know if you watched the first one, red means shelves. Those are shelves with parts. And currently I'm working on shelf 16, which is in the same room I'm in, so thankfully that makes it the most convenient. And you probably also know that the white is just doors that go to other rooms. So pretty much anything that's up here is just a hallway and it's not important, so don't worry about that. This square right here is the most important. But everything else you're probably not familiar with, so let's go through a rundown. The yellow represents cardboard boxes, and my workstation right here is represented by a chair, 2 stools, and a cart. I'm not trying to hog everything in the whole room, but there's a certain way I'd count things and place them in certain spots that it was kind of necessary to get a second stool, and I'll explain why here in a minute. But I didn't include everything that's in the room because, well, most of it's not important. Like, there's a fan right here, and there's a heater right here. So, you know, the best of both worlds. And also the flat wooden crate things are not represented anywhere. Like I said in the last Stuck video, this door is not meant to be used. It's just blocked off in here. And it's kind of hard to get in there without moving a bunch of crap anyway, so. Now, one of my coworkers, who is named Colton, one day he offered me a different cart. It was more black than gray, but I told him, nah, that's fine, I'm okay with the cart I'm using now. Because for one, future Kale was going to make a video about this and make the colors of the objects similar to what they were in real life to some extent. And 2, my cart is the best designed cart for this job. And this is the cart I started with. We'll get to the designs in a minute, but if anybody ever needed to borrow a stool, stool number 2 is the one I would recommend they borrow. I hope they don't need 2 stools, because I do need at least one of them. But it would help if I had both. And just in case anybody ever did need to borrow a stool, I put sticky notes on each stool, and I will tell you what they say right now. The sticky note on stool number 1 says, for extra counting space, if a stool is needed, please use stool 2. And the sticky note on stool number 2 says, for parts that weren't listed and are being brought to the other room, feel free to borrow it if I'm not using it, but please bring it back. So with that said, I'm probably going to show you the side view of these objects right here. Alright, so right off the bat you're probably saying, Kale, you should have enough space for anything you need. You don't need these 2 stools, that one and that one. But it does make it a little bit more convenient, and I'll tell you why. Like I said in the first Stuck video, I'm taking the whole row of stuff on that specific shelf. The top rows on shelves mostly don't contain containers. Some of them do. Now you're talking about containers? Well, yes. Throughout my work, there's an abundance of little plastic containers with more airplane parts in them. Usually smaller ones. Tons of colors too. They come in red, blue, yellow, gray, black, and I think that's about it. Maybe white too. And if there's ever a container on a shelf with nothing in it, there's a big, large container on wheels for the smaller containers to go into that are empty. And there's quite a lot in there as well. But the thing is, I do have quite a bit of surface area to put parts in. However, I reserve some of those surface areas for other stuff. When I get a new row of crap, it goes right here or right here. If I have containers, then the thing I'll do is usually pour out the whole container on top here. And if I'm done with a specific part in that container, but I'm not done with every part of the container, those parts go right here. If I'm completely done with the container, all the parts get moved back and then put down here. So basically up here is for anything I haven't counted yet, and down here is for anything I already have counted. Now, because I need a place to put my lunch and my phone and my water bottle, and I also have a little container for a small amount of supplies, and also a tiny rock that I found that has been chilling on my cart for months, yeah, I do need a bit of extra space, and so that's what this is for. And before today, it's just been this and this. Whenever I need to go get more parts, I usually slide my clipboard down here because it's the perfect spot for it. It's the perfect length too, because if you were to stick your hand up here, it could go through here. It doesn't have like a, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but basically it's not solid. Only the edges are solid, so the clipboard can squeeze right in there perfectly fine. And I guess now that I have this stool over here, I can also put that here, so it doesn't really matter if it's this one or this one. It's just whatever. And also, I'm just now noticing that this is a little too long compared to this one, but it's too late to change that now. I've already started recording. So why do you need a second stool? You seem to have had the perfect setup there. Well, like I said earlier, for about a year I have been writing down parts that were not listed on the chart to the side, and then just putting them back where they went. But today I decided to cut that crap out and actually give the parts to one of my coworkers. I don't know if they're all aware of it yet, but they will be soon. So I need this second stool for placing parts that were not listed on the chart. And once I'm done with everything on here and crap, I'll just take whatever's here and go to the other room with it. It'd probably be a lot more helpful if I just gave it to them instead of just saying, oh, well, I found it on this row, because believe me, there could be a crap ton of parts on one row, let alone the whole shelf, let alone the whole room, let alone the whole building. But we don't need to go that far. The only reason I didn't do it before is because I was shy as hell whenever I first got there, and I didn't want to really make any contact with anybody, so I just left them to myself. But now that I know the guys, yeah, it's really helpful. And I've gotten used to them for a while, but I guess I just forgot until now. But let me know what you guys think about the spiritual successor. I don't want there to be a third one of these. I doubt it, because I don't want the thing to get repetitive. But yeah, thanks for watching.